Now, with the medieval feudalist stateless societies, no one's really considered them anarchists, and the reason they don't consider them anarchists is because it isn't based off of individual autonomy. It was really circumstantial, and you see, the conditions of anarchism and the properties of anarchism aren't enough to make something anarchist. There has to be that intentional intentionality. You have to be extremely intentional, or just moderately intentional, that you're going to make an anarchist community of based upon voluntary association. It was just stateless. I mean, there were some advantages over it. It really became worse when it was run with states, but for the most part, you can see some of my nosebleed scenes. For the most part, it was just run without that voluntary, natural voluntary association. Feudal societies did have longer lifespans and more prosperity until they became statist, and then it became a lot worse. Of course, these lifespans and other things to take into account for prosperity are aren't nearly as much as we have right now. But it could have easily been the case that if once it started to become circumstantial that you had stateless feudalist societies, that if we had sort of the same ideological movement that we have now back then, and it could have been anarchist. But how could it have been anarchist? How could have that happened? I mean, most of these people were having a hard time being skilled in stuff like reading. Well, there's the Roman Catholic Church, and what if they started to advocate some sort of a stateless interaction voluntary association? Moreover, they just start having anarchists as views. If the situation would have called for that, and then people started to become more anarchist in ideology because of the Roman Catholic Church that they followed so egregiously, then the situation would have called for these circumstantial stateless societies to have become anarchist in some anarcho feudalist sense of the word. And if that would have happened, then seeing as the whole medieval era was probably extremely long and it lasted for a very long time, Dark Ages were humongous. Dark Ages happened post the fall of Rome, and if it would have continued for that long, then the growth of statism, if it ended, came to a close, would have been much more weak. And that would have called for some excellence in anarcho feudalism, because if we became anarchists, then we would have seen a lot more. We would have seen a result of those serfs being more respectful for the people, and would have seen even better conditions, maybe longer lifespans, since back then those lifespans were increasing, they were good, but compared to now, maybe they could reach a similar interval to ours. So to evaluate this, back then the whole stateless feudalist societies were circumstantial. However, if they were to become um, anarcho-feudalist. All it would have took was those Roman Catholics, which helped a lot of these people become literate, and they really shaped the minds of these people, really brainwashed them. All it would take was for them to establish anarchist-esque viewpoints. Alright, so I'm done here. Yeah, I know I look like shit, but it's worth it.